Clueless Cooks, and welcome back to Clueless Cooking 101, where I'm clueless and you, the beginner, are clueless too. So let's get started and let's have some fun in the kitchen. Welcome back, Clueless Cooks. It's summer, and that means picnics and summer salads. So today we're going to make chicken salad, and I already vetted it. And even people that are bodybuilders and fitness enthusiasts can prepare and eat this because it has all of the ingredients that are on the thumbs up list. And we're going to show you the ingredients for the Clueless Cooking chicken salad. If you bake the chicken like we did in episode 1, you can take the chicken breast and dice that. But what we're going to do is I'm going to teach you how to poach chicken tenders. But let's get going with the ingredient list, and then we'll get going with poaching the chicken tenders so we can get that moving while we're chopping everything else. We're going to use 1 pound of chicken tenders, and of course these are from Walmart, but I use free range and hormone free and antibiotic free because that's what I do. So we have to have chicken tenders, and then, but what I did do, you can buy, there's a 32-ounce box. It's like a milk carton kind of box that you can buy organic chicken bone broth, and you can use that, but of course, you know, we make our own from the carcass of the chicken that we bake, and there is an episode on bone broth. So, and this is organic, and we leave all the fat in it and everything. It's got a lot of garlic in it and tons of flavor. First of all, fresh parsley. And pop quiz, why do we use parsley? We use parsley because it's full of iron. I'm not sure if it has a flavor, but we put chopped parsley in almost anything that we can. And of course, I get that in Walmart. Some of it, you just get like a bunch of parsley, and this new Walmart that I go to, it puts it in plastic, but I cut it off and I put this on top. We're going to use organic celery. We're going to cut that in small pieces. These are actually organic green onions that I bought at Walmart, but I already threw away the back package. And these are grapes, red grapes. They're seedless. I could not find organic, so what I did is I soaked them for 20 minutes in vinegar water because that's what the internet says to do. Here's an organic apple. I bought a bag of organic apples at Walmart. Here's their sour cream. Oops. I pulled the top off because it was hard to get off. So anyway, here's the Walmart. I buy the large sour cream because I use that instead of mayo. We're using organic raisins. I couldn't find them at Walmart, unfortunately. And we're using organic pecans. I'm going to chop those, and I can either chop them by hand, or today I'm going to cheat and use this little chopper that I bought at the thrift store. And then these are Trilogy seeds that I also bought at Walmart. You don't have to put them in there, but I do for additional fiber. So we're going to poach the chicken, get it going. It takes about 10 minutes max. And then we're going to chop the rest of the stuff. Be right back. Hey, Clueless Cooks, sorry to interrupt this episode. I know you're probably looking at your social media feeds, so since you're already doing that, check us out. Check out Clueless Cooking 101 on TikTok and Facebook and Instagram, Substack, and I even have a blog. We have videos and written posts, so check us out on all those social media sites, and we'd love to hear your comments. Okay, Clueless Cooks, we're going to poach some chicken, and I just wanted you to learn how to do this because it makes it super moist, super tasty, super tender. And so instead of poaching it like you poach an egg or whatever, we poach it in bone broth, which really helps the flavor. And so I'm supposed to measure this out, but I'm going to guess that we're going to use about 4 cups of bone broth. And then this is the free-range chicken. These are the tenders that I bought. And you can buy chicken breasts and cut them yourself again, or you can use the chicken breast if you baked the whole chicken, like in episode 1. Just take 1 or 2 of those breasts, depending on how much chicken salad you want to make. This is what, it's kind of funky, but this is what chicken looks like when it's being poached It just means that you're going to cook it in liquid. And we're going to do a medium heat and steam it or poach it for about 10 minutes. And I'm going to use some tongs and probably turn it over, even though you might not have to. The chicken, the broth that I make, the bone broth that I make, is full of spices and garlic and all of that stuff. So I don't actually put anything in the bone broth when I poach the chicken. First chopped ingredient is we're going to use green onions. And I already cleaned most of these, but because these are not fresh from Walmart, or they're not fresh from wherever you can buy them, sometimes green onions get slimy things on them. And so I just wanted to show you how to get the slimy stuff off. And we're going to use a half cup of chopped green onions. And I start at the top. I should probably tell you use 3 green onions, but instead I'm going to say take the whole bunch. Let's start at the top, cut them off even, and we're going to use a half a cup of these. And you can cut them as small or as large as you want. I cut them relatively small so that they sort of disappear bite-size wise. So now we're getting down to the onion part. If you just, if you're just chopping and you get the green part only and you don't get into the onions, it's still okay. Here's your half cup of chopped green onions. I'm going to pour those in, and we're moving on to celery next. And I should probably tell you 3 stalks of celery, but I'm going to do the same thing with the celery that I've done with the ovens, but we're going to do 1 cup of chopped celery because it's so darn good for you. And this has already been washed, and I've used it before, but I'm going to cut the top off of it and toss it because it has aged a little bit. So this is what I do with celery. Sometimes you can get like 3 stalks of celery and chop it and and end up with a cup of celery for your chicken salad, but I just cut it right off the top in the sizes that I want. And let's see if we have a cup. We're getting there. And don't be afraid, I don't know what it's called, but there's this green leafy stuff on the top of celery. I understand it's really nutritious. Don't be afraid to use it. Oh, not quite a cup. I'm going to keep going. So there's our 1 cup of celery, and I'm just going to go check on that poached chicken and see how we're doing. I guess I have to increase it. I'm going to take it up to medium-high. All right, that's it for celery. Okay, next thing is the grapes, and I cheated. I already washed these. I soaked them for 20 minutes, in vinegar water, as I said before, just to get the residue off because I couldn't find organic. And grapes are part of the Dirty Dozen. And what that means is that these are foods that you eat, produce that you eat with the skin on. And when you eat food with the skin on and it's part of the Dirty Dozen, you be really, really careful because pesticides and herbicides do accumulate in the skin. So there's our 1 cup of grapes, but you know, I just measure them out and then we're going to cut them in half and then toss them into our salad as we cut them. So that's it. Just cut them in half. All right, I'm going to be right back. I'm just going to check on that poached chicken again. Smells great. And I'm going to find those little tongs, and I'm just going to turn this over even though we don't necessarily have to turn it. Okay, next thing that we're going to slice for this salad is 1 organic apple. I buy the whole bag. There's this organic section at Walmart, and I buy a whole bag of organic apples. And on one of the episodes where we made this berry crisp dessert, I showed Brian, he was my guest that day. Oh, this apple's got like this brown spot, and we're gonna make that go away. Oh, it's still there. So it's going deep. There we go, got rid of it. Okay, but you notice I do leave the skin on because there are a lot of nutrients in the skin. And as I chop these apples, just so you know, I chop them into bites. And you know, once we make it up into a salad, you'll kind of see what it looks like. All right, that was one organic apple. We're going to use 1/2 cup of organic raisins. That would be a bam. Gonna go check on the chicken real fast. I hear something going on. Oh, I think we're done. I'm just gonna let it sit in that au jus or in that chicken broth and steam for a minute while we chop these nuts, put them in, and then and we're gonna use, I think that's in the way. He wanted me to get that out of the way. We're going to use 1/4 cup of trilogy seeds, and those are in the baking aisle at Walmart. And you don't have to use them, but you know, I do because they have fiber in them, and it gives it an interesting texture, in addition to being really, really good for you. So one of the things about one of these mini choppers is you want to put the blade in first before you put your stuff in, because otherwise it doesn't work very well. So we're going to use, I said 1/2 cup, but let's use 1 cup. So here's the 1 cup. That probably is too much. I'm going to change my mind and go back to 1/2 cup. Sorry about that. Yeah, 1/2 cup, and I'm using pecans. I got some raw organic pecans from someplace. I hate to confess, they didn't have them at Walmart. They have pecans, but they weren't organic. So, okay, remember, cup, blade, then the nuts, because otherwise it doesn't work very well. All right. That's a little faster, except for the part of screwing around with the mini chopper forever. And I think the last time we used this, Brian was chopping nuts for the topping on our mixed berry crisp. So I'm going to blame it on him but I guess there's nothing to blame it on. All right, so now we're going to get our poached chicken. I think we have, and we're going to use somewhere in here, teaspoon, what did I do? 1 teaspoon of black pepper. Hey Clueless Cooks, another interruption. If you will check out my website, which is cluelesscooking101.com, I'd really appreciate it. We have a blog with some recipes, and we also are going to have merchandise coming up soon so that you can have a cool apron like mine. But in the meantime, just check out our website, and I'd really appreciate it. We'll see you there. Okay, so there's the 1 teaspoon of black pepper. We're trying to go saltless on this, but not sure if we'll be able to. So here's the poached chicken. That's what a poached chicken tender looks like. And I have to tell you, like, they're super juicy, super moist. And I chopped them into bites Some people like to shred their chicken for chicken salad, but I chop these into bites. And let's see how many tenders. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 tenders. I'm going to say 7 to 10 tenders is going to be about a pound. That's what you're going to need. So when I chop the chicken tenders after they've been poached, you got to find the direction of the grain of the chicken, or they're very difficult to chop. I learned this the hard way. So here's your poached chicken tender. Cut it down the middle. And as you can see, it wants to go horizontal. It wants to go like on the diagonal. Okay, there is 1 cup. Looks like it's going to be about 2 cups of chicken breasts or chicken tenders if you go by the cup rather than by the amount of tenders. So this is a little bit more than 2 cups of chicken. And then the last thing that we're going to put in here is a 1/4 cup. Let's do a 1/2 cup. We're going to do a 1/2 cup of parsley. That's about a 1/2 cup. And I cut it this way because a girlfriend told me to. She said they needed to be smaller pieces. And I put the stems in there. Some people don't. They just pull the leaves off the parsley and chop it. But I like to do the stems. Okay, fresh parsley. All right. So this is what your chicken salad looks like. Kind of ugly before you stir it all up. And then I don't do anything complicated. I just put a cup of sour cream on there. Remember, previously I told you that Margaret Newman from Naples, Florida, this fabulous German chef, she told me to not use mayo and use sour cream for everything. We're going to pop this whole cup of sour cream into the chicken salad and then stir it up. And I think we're done. That's what chicken salad looks like when it's all made up, and we're going to taste it now. All right, we'll get some chicken, we'll get some parsley, we'll get apples, we'll get all this stuff. It's nice. I would say though, unless you're on a restricted salt diet, it needs at least a teaspoon of salt. All right, one more taste test after the teaspoon of salt. Yep. When you refrigerate this, I have a container with like an airtight, I suggest an airtight container. Okay, so what can you do with chicken salad? So, of course, you can make a sandwich. You can put a couple of scoops of it on a plate. You can put a couple of scoops of it on lettuce and present it and make it really pretty. Or you can be like me and just eat it out of the container. I have a lid. And there you have it, prepared chicken salad for the fridge. Happy July and picnicking. Take this on a picnic and you can serve with crackers, you can have bread, you can make sandwiches out of it, you can add lettuce or spinach to your sandwiches. But anyway, this is your chicken salad recipe. Happy July, happy summer, and happy chicken salad. Okay, Clueless Cooks, something that you didn't expect. It's contest time. And I bought this really neat set of kitchen knives, and it has a peeler, 4 knives, and a set of kitchen scissors in there. They're really high-end, very nice. I've already tried them out. They work great. So anyway, you know, we're growing Clueless Cooking 101 organically, and we're up to 100 subscribers. And so the contest that we're having is to double our subscribers to 200. So if you will share this video with your friends and ask them to subscribe, it'll help me out a whole lot. If you want to leave a comment in our YouTube section about sharing this, liking it, and encouraging people to subscribe, I'd really appreciate it. And it'll probably be a couple of weeks, and somebody's going to get this wonderful set of knives. So help us get to 200, please. Hey Clueless Cooks, thanks a bunch for joining me on this episode of Clueless Cooking 101. And I invite you to like and subscribe Clueless Cooking 101 on YouTube. And be sure to send your comments and recipes because I'll 100% reply. See you next time.